All right, welcome. This is going to be our introduction to the course, talk about the syllabus and the course website and things like that that we would normally cover the first day of class. So let's start off with Cougar courses. I assume by now, you're intricately familiar with it, but that's going to be your one-stop shop for everything related to this course. Okay? So if we go out there, we'll find a couple of key areas that I'll go through today, and then I'll talk about the syllabus, and I'll talk about some of the key things you'll be using in this course, outside tools. So when we log in, we end up on the Help in Course Communications page. Announcements is where I'm going to broadcast information to the whole course, so everybody can see it. So pay attention to those announcements. Okay. Second thing is we have a Microsoft Teams room. And so you'll join that Microsoft Teams room in order to chat with other folks in the class, have conversations, ask questions, and get answers. It's designed to be a collaborative environment, so I've created some channels for specific things like the project, the homework, tutors, those who are interested in providing tutoring or receiving tutoring. There's a channel for that sort of thing. Okay? All the normal school rules apply. So if we have any problems, then unfortunately I will have to notify the Dean of Students. And if they are of a nature that is more appropriate for the police department, then obviously they would get involved. And I hope we won't have that problem this semester, but we have had that problem in the past. Okay? As far as technical support and technical requirements for Cougar courses, so you can check this out to make sure that your computer is set up for Cougar courses. If you have a DSS accommodation, you can go here for more information. Academic support resources, again, here is a place for you to go take a look at that. And then there's some non-academic resources down here as well. So Cougar Care, if you need that, SOAR, and a few other things. Okay? Now, as far as being able to talk to me, we have an office hours scheduling link here. We have a checkpoint meeting scheduling for your project. It's optional, but highly recommended. Okay. And then we have our Zoom links down at the bottom here. Okay. And I'm going to go ahead and pause the video for a second so I can move to the next page. Now, I'll note about those Zoom sessions, they require a couple of things. Number one, you need to be authenticated with your school single sign-on account. Right? The same account you used to log into Cougar courses, you need to make sure you log into the Zoom with that. Right? That's to prevent Zoom bombers. Number two, as an added protection, in case that doesn't work, I have a passcode enabled. The passcode is only in Cougar courses. Okay? So you'll need to enter the passcode. And as a third layer of protection, I also have the waiting room feature enabled. Okay? So conduct yourselves professionally, and we won't have any issues. Okay? Now, we move on to the next piece, which is start the course here. So this is the next place you're going to go to. First of all, YouTube channel, I strongly recommend you subscribe. I'm going to be adding videos to a playlist for this particular course, because there will be other videos up there for my other courses. But if you go out there, you'll get notified as soon as that playlist is updated with new videos. Okay? Now, I'm also going to be linking these under the individual modules. I have a page which I'll show you for each module, and that page will have the links to the individual lectures. Okay? But you can always find them on the YouTube channel before they get posted in the Cougar courses. A few other things to be aware of: the academic integrity and student conduct policies. You need to follow that, make sure you understand that. Not reading it's not an excuse. Right? We don't have any tests in this course, but we do have assignments that you do need to make sure you're adhering to these policies. Right? The syllabus is here, and if you click on this, it will download it to your computer. I'll show you the syllabus in just a moment. For success in this class, I've kind of given you some guidelines on how to be successful. There's a self-assessment. It's optional. You don't need to do it, but it's just to help you assess your online learning readiness. Okay? This should be Old hat for some of you because last semester we were forced to move online. As far as forums go for our discussions, this is giving you some guidance as to what you should do there. Online etiquette, right? And then getting acquainted. So there's a little bio about me down here at the bottom, and you'll see this box, which is a meet and greet to introduce yourself. Okay? I strongly encourage you to do that. It is, of course, optional. This particular assignment is not graded, but it will help your classmates, since we are not in the classroom, get to know you and perhaps allow you to form study groups and things like that. Okay? And who knows, you might make some new friends as well. And then the last thing here is a course overview video, which I recorded a few weeks ago. And this is just kind of talking about the course, and it's being supplemented by today's video. Okay? Then we move on, and each week has a module. So let's start with module 1, and then I'll show you a couple of other modules. So module 1 has a content area, and then you have the cloud platform coupon instructions. More on that in a second. And then each area of each module, you have a submit area. And that's where you submit your actual assignments. So for module 1, you only have one assignment due, and that's discussion 1. Okay? So let's start up here at the top and start with the content. Now you'll notice this goes to a website, okay, an external website. And if we scroll down, we can see the module 1 instructions. So I'm going to go through this, and then I'm going to tell you about the backup method for getting to things that Cougar Courses is down. Okay. So once the lectures have been posted, I'll remove this text at the top. Each module has an overview about what the module is about. There's a link to a virtual board. I'm going to go ahead and click on that for you here. Every time you click on it, it's going to take you to my board, but my board is going to be a version just for you. The benefit of this is I will add content to this board, and it's the same board each time, but when each time you go, you can add your notes to the board and then save your content. Now, your content isn't saved automatically, and it doesn't persist unless you have a paid account. And nobody needs to get a paid account, because you can export your board here to a PDF and then go look at it later. Okay? So nobody needs to go buy a paid account. It's not required for the class. As I add content here, you'll be able to go in, and if something's of interest to you, you can highlight it. Okay? You can do whatever you prefer here. So you can augment what I do on the notes, and I'll be doing the notes during the lecture videos. Okay? But the notes that I take during the lectures will be on the board here for you to go back and access at any time using the link that's in this file. Okay? And again, every time you go to it, you will get your own unique instance. And so you can augment, and when you're done for that session, you can go here to export board, and you can export as a PDF or as an image. You can also go take a screenshot on your computer if you prefer to do that method. Okay? Now, these boards will have eventually multiple pages. Okay? This particular one only has one page right now, but once it has multiple pages, you'll see a toggle at the bottom here to switch pages. And right now I'm envisioning each module having its own page. Okay? So you can easily go find the material of a particular unit. All right? So you'll be able to do that. Now, each unit has student learning outcomes. After completing that unit, you should be able to do these things. Okay? Now, this is a self-paced course for the most part, so you can take more time if needed to do the work. Okay? So if you're falling a little behind, that's okay. If you're a little ahead, that's okay as well. Okay? But you should be able to do these things before you move on to the next unit. And if you can't, you need to go through and actually review the material and practice some more. Now, each module will have resources, assignments, and due dates. These are the things that you have to do for that week. Okay? So for week 1 or module 1, you're going to complete the activities in the read, watch, listen, investigate section below. Okay? I'll go through that in a second. It tells you the due date for that. Then you're going to sign up for an Educate account on Amazon. Okay? And you're going to do that using your CSU SM email. You're also going to have a due date for that. you're going to sign up for a free GCP student account, and you're going to use the instructions under Module 1 in Cougar courses. And the reason for that is this is a private document. So anything that's private and I can't share through the internet in general, I will put under Cougar courses, under that particular module. So in this case, the coupon code link that you need for your GCP account is under Module 1. Now, it's important to note, nothing that you do in this course, absolutely nothing, requires that you use a payment card of any type. Okay? So if you get prompted for a credit card, you did something wrong, and you should see me during office hours. Okay? The coupon code that you get for GCP will give you access to Google Cloud Platform for a year. Okay? It does have a limit in terms of the number of resources you can spin up because it has a dollar value attached to it. If you run out of money on your account, let me know before you run out. Monitor it, let me know, and I will give you a new coupon code. In addition, AWS gives you a free Educate account. AWS doesn't require a credit card either. In fact, there is no way to enter a credit card with AWS Educate, as long as you follow the instructions here at the students link. If you go out to the regular AWS, so you don't do the rest of this link, you just do AWS, you will get asked for a credit card. You've done something wrong. Right? Make sure you go to this particular link. Again, if you have problems with this, I will record videos exactly how to do these things. Okay? The next thing is you've got a discussion. Each week you're going to have a discussion. And the discussion is located in Cougar courses. Now, it's very important to note you will not get any grade unless you do 2 posts. You need to do 1 post as your response to the prompt, and 1 is a substantive response to another student. So something like, I agree, yo, that's pretty cool, bro, that sort of thing isn't going to be sufficient. Okay, it needs to be a substantive response to the other student. You can respond to as many students as you want, okay? But you need at least 2 posts to get credit. If you only do 1 post, then you don't get any points. Okay? So be sure to follow the instructions. You also have a due date for that. And then homework assignments. So homework is done every 2 weeks is when it's due. So you have effectively 2 weeks to do it. Now, when I go through the syllabus, I'll talk about this a bit more in terms of late. I give you a grace period of 2 additional weeks. So you have 2 weeks to do the homework and then another 2 weeks grace period before it's late. Okay. After the 2 weeks, there is a 30% grading penalty for turning it in super late. Okay. As far as the homework goes, you'll be able to click on the link here, and this will take you to the homework assignment. And you can go view what you need to do here. Okay. And the first homework assignment, besides the discussion, will be due on the 14th of September. Okay. Now, you'll do your readings, and I've broken it into required readings, and then there's some optional stuff at the bottom. So you've got required readings, cloud vendor videos, if applicable, lectures and demos. Those are all required. Okay. And then you have optional readings, videos, and tutorials. You're not required to do these, but they will certainly help you in your career, and they may help you with materials in the course. If nothing else, they're good reference material for you if you get stuck on your homework or your project. Okay? And so I encourage you to go there first before you start asking for help. Okay? All right, so required readings for week 1. You have an introduction to cloud textbook material, cloud enablement technologies textbook material, cloud business impacts textbook material, and those are linked out here. Okay? Then you have an AWS fundamentals reading, GCP fundamentals, and then a little comparison between the two. Okay? You've got a handful of videos here, and the total of these videos is right around a little over an hour, it looks like, okay, for all of these videos. You should watch all of these videos so you have a good understanding of these. I've got a link to the YouTube channel, so if you ever forget where it's at, it's right here under every module. And then once I record the lectures, you will have a video for each lecture. Now, and same with demos. Okay. So rather than recording 2-3 hours at a time, which is pretty boring for you, I would imagine, I'm going to record very small videos for each one of these. Some may be longer than others. Okay. Some may be a traditional lecture format. Some may be a demonstration. Okay. But they will all be here and linked once they're ready. And then all the optional tutorials, readings, and videos are here. Now, you notice when you clicked on the link from Cougar Courses, it took you to this other website. This is a backup of the materials from the course. So if you can't get into Cougar Courses, you can go directly to this website if you want to bookmark it. But don't bookmark the individual page. I recommend that you click on this little breadcrumb here called Cloud Management Course. That takes you to the main page for everything for the course. And then you can go ahead and bookmark that. Okay? And then this will take you to and show you the whole course materials. Now, when we get later in the course, we're actually going to be using GitHub as a tool for this course. And when we get to that point, and if you work ahead, you're certainly welcome to go check out this repository. This is actually a repository for source in GitHub. So you can actually check this out locally to your computer and always have a current copy of it. Okay? But we're not going to get into that until I think it's around week 5 or 6. And you do not need a login for GitHub. Now, if you want to log in for GitHub so you can go and do your own stuff out here, what you need to do is go look in the materials for the course and find the section on GitHub. We have a section where we talk about source code control. And there is a sign up link for you to sign up for a free GitHub account. I would wait until you do that so you can actually take advantage of the student offerings, which give you a lot of really cool freebies. Okay? All right, so that's kind of where things are laid out. Now they're broken into a structure here where the syllabus is out here. You can find the syllabus, always the most current copy. The project folder will have project instructions, examples, etc. Learning resources has the individual weekly modules of everything you need to do, as well as the textbook pages. And then homework has the homework instructions. But again, these are all linked from Cougar Courses to make it a lot easier for you. Okay? Now, I'm going to go ahead and show you one of the last modules that you won't be able to see for a while. Module 15 is where you're going to submit your project. Okay? The box isn't open yet. The box isn't going to be open for a while because I don't want you to focus on the project in the beginning. It's too distracting. Okay? So I'm not going to publish the instructions for the project for a bit. I want you to focus on the discussions so you can learn, watching the videos, reading the material, and then doing the homework assignments. The homework assignments are a practice to prepare you for the project. If you look at the schedule here, which we'll go through in a second, you'll see that the last few weeks of the course are all about the project. There are no more lectures. So the last 4 weeks, you're going to be working exclusively on their project. So you'll have time to worry about that later. Okay? And then your grade book will have all of the assignments that are graded in it. Okay? Now, if you want to, before going to the syllabus, if you want to be able to look at all of your classmates' little booklet thing here, you can go here and you can see all the entries. Okay? And you'll see it on the course dashboard. All right, so with that, I'm going to go ahead and switch over to the syllabus. And now we're going to talk about the syllabus. So the syllabus is kind of the source of truth for any course policies, due dates, etc. Okay? So if there's a discrepancy in Cougar Courses, the syllabus is the source of truth. Sometimes Cougar Courses displays dates that aren't the correct dates, even though it'll accept things on the right date. Okay. So in here, you have my email address. Okay. You can make an appointment for office hours in Cougar Courses. That link has the most updated times that I'm available. It syncs with my calendar. Okay. Now, I can't do individual tutoring for individuals. I just don't have the bandwidth for that. This is a very large class, and so in order to accommodate bringing in additional students who needed this to graduate, the trade-off is I'm just not going to be able to provide individual tutoring. That being said, I will have some weekly sessions for group tutoring, and if we need to extend them a little longer than what I have in the syllabus, we can work that out on a case-by-case basis. Okay? Now, for these individual appointments, please be prepared to use your time slot. You should probably be prepared with what you're going to ask me about. Okay? And be respectful. Okay? We have a lot of students who want to meet with me, I would imagine. So try to limit yourself to one appointment every 2 weeks, and that's a maximum, obviously. Okay. If there's something that comes up, don't make that a hard and fast rule, but just be respectful and know that other people want to be able to meet with me as well. Okay. The other thing is be respectful of times. I will cut people off if I have another appointment. If I don't have another appointment, then I'll extend it. But if I have someone else, I'm going to be respectful to them, and I might have to be rude and cut you off. Okay. But that's how the office hours work this time. And you'll get a notification out of my appointment system with the link, okay, of how you connect to it. I don't recall if it's Zoom or Google Meet, okay, but you will get a private link from one of those systems for the individual office hours. Again, the Zoom sessions that we have in this class, which are optional, you are not required to do them. It's an asynchronous course. You will have to use your CSUSM credentials to join those sessions. Okay? And those are all in group courses. So we will have a weekly Q&A, which again is optional. That will be on Monday from 5 to 6 p.m. Pacific. That will be recorded for those who can't make it. Okay? If you have questions that you want me to answer during the Q&A, but you can't attend yourself, then you're welcome to send me an email ahead of time with your questions. Okay? And then I can answer them on the recording for you. We will also have a weekly optional group tutoring session on Wednesday from 5 to 6 p.m. And this is when you need technical help. This is when you should attend. Okay? This will be recorded. So because it's recorded and it's a tutoring session, I want you to be aware that if you're asking me for assistance, I'm going to need you to share your screen. Therefore, your screen is going to be shared and recorded and posted on YouTube, which means anybody on the internet can see it. So you want to make sure you hide anything private before you share your screen. By accepting any help on those tutoring sessions, you're accepting the fact that that's going to be posted on the internet. Okay? Now, for both of these, I ask you to be respectful of myself and your classmates. So if multiple people are there, and I expect there will be multiple people, then I'm going to provide equal opportunities to ask questions and get assistance. And what does this mean? That if people can't self-moderate themselves to let others speak, then I'm going to have to mute everybody and ask people to raise their hands, just like we're in the classroom. Okay? And we're going to have to cycle through as many people as we can in those sessions. Now, I'm not tech support. I'm really not. So if you have problems with your computer setup or software, you need to contact the help desk or the manufacturer of your computer. Okay? For this class, you need to use Cougar apps or a web browser for anything you need help with during the group tutoring sessions. And I'm going to give you an example of this. Let's say you were in my MIS 411 class last semester, and you set up an SSH client on your machine to connect to the cloud providers. And for some reason, it doesn't work anymore. That's not something I can help you with. Okay, so don't bring that type of question to me. You're going to need to connect through the web browser. You'll have to figure those types of issues out yourself if you have individual software issues. I'm not requiring that you install SSH software because not everybody is using their own computer and not everybody can install it. Okay? So if you choose to do that, you're on your own and you're going to have to figure that out. Similarly, I'm not going to cover how to do that during class. Now, I know we have some students from last time who had some recordings. Unfortunately, I don't have those recordings anymore, but if you do and you want to post them, let me know and I'll post them in the links to your YouTube video or whatever you're using. Okay? Now, I am encouraging group tutoring, so I am encouraging you to have volunteer peer tutors and helping each other out in Microsoft Teams and in forums and whatnot. Lastly, about these Zoom sessions, I'm going to observe the 15-minute rule. Okay? I don't want to sit around for an hour and have nobody show up. So if nobody joins in the first 15 minutes, it'll be just like if we were in the classroom. Then the remainder of the session will be canceled. Okay? And then lastly, I'm going to do something fun. And this is completely optional, but on a bi-weekly basis in even-numbered weeks, so not the first week of class, but the second week of class, on Friday, I will have an optional Cloud Happy Hour, and the details are in Cougar courses. And that Cloud Happy Hour is going to be an opportunity for you to socialize, have career discussions. So I'm going to ask that you hold any career questions, resume questions, graduate school questions, that sort of thing, anything that's not course related to the happy hour on Fridays. Okay? That makes sure that I'm able to actually help students who need help in the class. Okay? And that will be bring your own beverage of your choice if you choose to drink something. Okay. Meeting times, this is asynchronous, so all of the lectures this time are going to be pre-recorded. Same with any demos. My YouTube channel is again linked for your convenience. Now, I recommend that you do an optional checkpoint for your project in the last 4 weeks of the course. Highly recommended. And you can schedule that using Cougar courses. You should come to that session prepared to talk about your project. Okay? So that means specific questions as opposed to generalities. I already talked about the Zoom sessions that are optional. The Teams room link and join code are in Cougar courses. The prerequisites are 302 or 304 in the MS department with a C or better. If you don't have those, I don't know that you were able to register to begin with, but if you have some circumstance where maybe you went to college somewhere else and they didn't have those classes, then you should talk to me about the requirements of the course to make sure you're prepared. Okay? I will be doing some basic command line material in week 2 to help those of you who have never done that before. Okay? If you have done that before, it'll be review. And if you don't need that material, you're welcome to skip ahead to the next unit at that point. Okay? All right, so this talks about the objectives for the course, the competency that's required to start the course. You need to be able to use Cougar courses. If not, you need to get help from the help desk for that. Okay, and follow the materials. Cougar apps. Again, Cougar apps is linked from Cougar courses. So if you do not have a modern web browser, and modern is a very loose term, I can't really define that for you. It's just that when you try to use those cloud providers, if it doesn't work, you don't have a modern web browser and you need to use Cougar apps. If the cloud provider systems work and you don't have any issues, then you have a modern web browser. So please don't send me emails asking me, well, I've got this version of Windows and this version of Internet Explorer. Will that work for me? Okay. Your best bet is to check out the cloud providers once you sign up and see if they work. And if they work, you're good. If not, then you should use Cougar apps. Okay. You need to have the ability to use web browser-based applications. I don't think that's going to be an issue. You need to be able to follow written and video technical instructions, and sometimes, especially as we move through the course. In the beginning, they're mostly step-by-step, you do this, now do this. Okay? As you move through the course, I want to prepare you for your careers, because many of you are seniors and are graduating this year. Okay? So if you're going out into the workforce, you need to be able to exercise independent judgment and your critical thinking skills. You also need to be able to exercise your experimentation. So I'm actually going to add that here. Okay, done. You need to be able to communicate in a discussion forum. You need to be able to download, save, and potentially upload files, copy, paste, that sort of thing. You need to be able to use Office applications. Again, I don't think that's an issue. And you need to exercise those critical thinking and experimentation skills. There are going to be challenging problems, and some of you may have more challenges than others. Okay? You need to be able to dissect and solve those problems. Now, I will guide you, okay? But I may not necessarily solve the problem for you. Okay? So I don't think it's helpful to you in your careers to spoon feed you every little detail. And so you're going to have to take nuggets of information that I give you and use that to help solve the problem. Now, your peers will be here to help you, I'd imagine. We've always had great luck with peers helping each other out, and I want to encourage that in this class. Okay? So please continue doing that. There is no textbook. You pay enough for textbook in other courses. I see no value in you paying for textbook, and frankly, there is no good textbook for this course anyways. It's too modern a material to have a textbook, and so you can save the money and use it for other necessities. Okay? All the readings are going to be linked from Cougar courses. Now, you are required to have a microphone, so you can talk to me in the synchronous sessions, or if you're in a classroom office hours with me or something, you do need to have an actual computer of some sort. So Windows, Mac OS, or Linux should work just fine. The thing with Chromebooks is they may or may not work. Okay. I would, because you need to have access to Cougar apps, I think you need to talk to the IT organization as to whether the Chromebook will allow you to access Cougar apps or not. This is one of those classes where you do need some sort of computer. Okay? It doesn't need to be a fancy computer, but you do need something that can run Windows, Mac OS, or Linux, because I don't believe that you're going to be able to run some of the cloud stuff from Chromebook. Specifically, things like the command line interface might be problematic. You're welcome to try it out, though. Okay? And if not, then there's instructions out on Cougar courses under the technical support on how to contact ITS to get access to a school computer. Okay? In addition, my understanding is there will be a computer lab set up in the banquet hall of the university. What's it called? The student union building. Okay? I recommend you have a webcam for the synchronous sessions, but it's not absolutely required. Okay? Oh, one other mention I will make, since I'm mentioning webcams and stuff. We're all, most of us I should say, are probably stuck in our homes. Okay? So it's not a problem if you have kids, you have family members, you know, your house is a mess, whatever. It's not a problem. Okay, we're not judging each other. Okay, if you have pets and things like that, it's not a problem. All that I ask is that you mute yourself when you're not speaking. Okay, that's the only thing that I ask of you. Okay? And if it's a problem, then I'll just mute everybody, and you'll have to ask me to unmute yourself. Okay. Pets are welcome. You might see mine from time to time. Okay. As far as the requirements, discussions. So each week you're going to have a discussion post and a prompt. You need to also engage with your peers. So you need two posts for any credit. One is your own, one is a response to someone else. Okay. I don't have a length requirement for these. It just needs to be substantive and address the discussion prompt that you're given. Now here's the thing, discussions are just like attending class though. They're kind of like your attendance points. If you don't show up to class, you don't get the attendance points. Okay. So if you don't post the discussion in the week that it's available, by the deadline, and the deadline will always be at Sunday at 11:30 p.m., then you cannot get credit, and I will not reopen that for you. It does not matter. Okay? It does not matter the reason. If you miss a discussion or only post once, you're going to forfeit the points for that week. Now, if you have a documented medical emergency, you're going to need to provide me with proof. Do that in an email. That's the safest way. And then you're going to have to ask me for an alternative assignment. There will be 15 discussions, and I've given you the general topics of what they're going to be about just so you can help prepare yourself. Okay? There are no exams. You can cheer, you can clap, I don't care, right? But there are no exams in this course. I feel like this is the level of course that I want you to be prepared for the workforce, because if you finish this class, you do well in this course, you learn the material, you're going to be able to go out and position yourself to have an opportunity at a really great job. Okay? These are very high demand skills, and they're an area that if you position them right on your resume and you can articulate them and you can demonstrate them, this is going to really help you get ahead of a lot of other people on your career track. Okay? There are 7 homework assignments. Okay? You're going to complete one of these about every 2 weeks to prepare for your project. Okay? You need to review the late policy. I'll go into that in a second. But it is in your best interest to keep up as much as you can, because they do help build on things for the project. Not all of them have been written yet, but a few of them have been written. Okay? So I believe that the first 4, the instructions are together. The last 3 I haven't started yet. Okay? So you won't be able to work too far ahead at this point. Now, an important thing about the homework. This is how I treat the homework. Okay? I care more about you exercising your critical thinking, your experimentation, and the analytical reasoning skills. I want you to try. I want you to fail. I want you to pick up the pieces and try again. I want you to fail. And then I want you to pick up the pieces and try again. Okay? It is perfectly okay to fail. There are no right answers on these homework assignments. You need to demonstrate to me that you made a good faith effort to complete them. Okay? So if you did something incorrectly, I'm not going to take off points for that. I am going to give you feedback on what you did wrong so you can correct it for your project. Okay? What that means is if you make a good faith effort to do these and you provide the documentation that I'm asking you to do in the homework assignment instructions, then you will get full credit. Okay? If you do a half-assed job, though, you will get 0 credit. So it's either you did it, you did your best, and you completed it, even if you didn't get the right results, or you didn't put any effort in and you get 0 points for it. Okay. Now, I'll say one other thing about that is you can't bullshit. Okay. You just can't get away with doing that in this course. Remember, this is my career. This is what I do for a living. So I will know if you are bullshitting me. Okay? Don't do it. You need to learn this stuff, and I'm here to help you. Okay? Come to the group office hours to ask questions. Come to the group tutoring session. Okay? Even if I'm helping someone else, a lot of times I end up helping everybody who's there. Okay? If you can't make those times, and I understand that everybody's got busy schedules, then we'll just do it. We'll set up an ad hoc tutoring session for groups at a different time. Okay? And we'll just play that by ear and see exactly what we need to do there. Okay? Now, if you get stuck on a particular assignment and you're having problems or you get error messages, one of the things I ask you to do is document the error message and then do a good faith effort to try to overcome the error message. Okay? Do research. Stack Overflow is a great example of a website that can help you with a lot of these problems. Going to the Google website and the Amazon Web Services website, looking at their documentation, a lot of times you can solve the issues. I would highly doubt that anybody in this class at the level that these homework assignments are going to encounter something that has never been encountered by someone else on the internet. Okay? These are things that have been done many, many times by hundreds of thousands of people, if not more, around the internet already. And so if there's an issue, chances are it's not unique to you. Okay? So if you encounter issues, document the issues, tell me why you think you had an issue, tell me what you tried to do, and then see if you're able to move on. Now, depending on the homework assignment, you may not be able to move on from that point. Okay? You should contact me earlier if you're having issues, or better yet, contact in the Teams room, post your problem so that other students can help you out. Because chances are one of the other students in the class has had the same issue, okay, and can help you. And I want to encourage everybody to be kind to each other. This is the time for everybody to be kind and helpful. I will monitor teams as best as I can to give answers. One of the things I'll caution you is please don't be expecting an immediate response from me. I don't have Teams open during the day. I'm working on a completely different computer. Okay? I don't check Teams until nighttime. Now, other students may be on there during the day and able to help you. So that's why I want you to leverage that synchronous communication method, which can also be used asynchronously. Okay? If you recall, some of you have had me before, we use Slack. Teams is a lot like Slack, okay? Except that Microsoft Teams is managed by Cal State San Marcos. Okay? So if you do have issues with Microsoft Teams, you do need to contact the ITS Student Help Desk. Okay? They can help you with that. With respect to the project, the instructions will not be posted quite yet, but I wanted to run through the project scenario a little bit with you. Okay? It's a project worth 35% of your grade, so it's worth about a third of your grade. It's an individual project. Let's face it, it would not be feasible to do a group project with COVID. That being said, I do encourage you to form virtual peer tutoring groups and help each other out. But you all need to submit your own independent work, even if you help each other with things. This is not Johnny does all the work and Jimmy freeloads off of them. Okay? This is an individual assignment. Okay? If you and someone else end up with the exact same thing, that's plagiarism, that's a violation of the academic integrity rules, and it will be reported. So you're encouraged to help each other out, but you each need to produce your own work product and submit that. Okay? And that's what Microsoft Teams is there to help you for. It's a hypothetical about Cougar Flicks. Okay? It's a streaming video service for college students. The company is running its own IT infrastructure in a data center, and it has a disaster recovery facility out in Virginia. The production facilities, meaning the video production facilities, let me clarify that, are in a skyscraper in downtown San Marcos. You've probably seen it from the freeway. It's about 100 stories high. Obviously, that's sarcasm. It's been closed due to COVID-19. Now, the company has noticed that Saturday Night Live has been producing their TV series from people's homes. So the company says, we're going to get rid of the skyscraper and we're going to move everything to our employees' homes. This is great, except it's a problem because the IT infrastructure can't handle this. It can barely handle the fact that everybody's working at home right now. So your manager, the VP of IT, has asked you to put together a proposal so that the company can shift all of its IT infrastructure to cloud-based providers. Now, the cloud-based providers could be IaaS, PaaS, and SaaS and mix, but they cannot just be PaaS or SaaS. You have to have IaaS in there, okay? And we'll get into what that means specifically later on when I give you the instructions. But you will also do a pilot deployment. Now, you cannot use SaaS for your pilot deployment. That's really cheating, okay, because it makes it too easy. You need to use either Amazon Web Services or Google Cloud Platform. You're welcome to use Microsoft Azure, by the way, which is the third major provider of cloud infrastructure, but I don't have access to it, and therefore I can't really teach it. Okay? But you are welcome to, because the two biggest are AWS and Azure, followed by GCP in the marketplace. Okay? So you're welcome to go explore Azure on your own and use that instead, but you're on your own to go sign up for an account. I believe that you get a free account as part of the GitHub student pack that you'll sign up for in about week 5 or 6 or so, something like that. Okay. Now, you're going to submit all your deliverables at the same time during finals week. You can submit them early, and I've got some rewards if you submit things early. But I'm giving you kind of the recommended pace or cadence for completing your project assignments, just so you prevent yourself from falling behind. Okay. Now, the level of effort is my best estimate, which is not scientific in any way, but just take it with a grain of salt, knowing that some people will be able to work much faster and some people are going to work much slower. Only you know how fast you can work. Okay? So if you know your pace on projects, you will want to adjust accordingly. The students who procrastinate are those who have a high probability of failing. Okay? So you want to keep up with the work. You don't want to wait to the end to try to get everything in. Okay? Now, the project has several components. The first is the presentation, which is a slide deck, very short, 5 to 7 slides, and a 1-minute elevator pitch video, which you're going to either post on YouTube or Vimeo and give me the rights to view it. Okay? If you exceed or go under the 1 minute, there are some penalties. Okay? There's a little bit of a grace period for under and over, but there's significant penalties for going significantly over or significantly under. And you can see those in the syllabus. Okay? There's the cloud architecture design drawing. I will show you how to do that in class. Don't worry, we've got a unit on that. And I also have some examples from the students who were the first class to take this particular course. Okay? And so you can see what some other students did. The infrastructure deployment is going to be you deploying cloud infrastructure into both GCP and AWS. Okay? And you'll write a small paper to document your work as you go along. It's not a research paper, it's a paper about kind of reflecting on what you do. Okay? The details of all of that will come later. Now, why am I making you do both GCP and AWS? The reason is, in many environments these days, it's multi-cloud. So most organizations don't put all their eggs in one basket. Some do, but most don't. And so I want you to be able to use those two common cloud platforms. And so by practicing it, it sets you up to put on your resume that you have experience with both GCP and AWS. And hopefully that will help you to go out and get some really great opportunities in your career. Okay? The next piece of this is you're going to do cloud automation deployment. So you're going to use automation software. and use that to automate cloud deployments. So in the first part, you're going to deploy infrastructure, you're going to deploy it manually. And then the second piece here, this cloud automation, you're going to learn how to do it in an automated fashion that's repeatable and can be driven by policy. Okay? And what do I mean by policy? I'll get into that a bit more detail later on, but what I mean is, let's say your company does not want your employees to deploy into Brazil. Okay? Well, then you're not going to be able to provision in Brazil into the cloud because your policy prevents you from doing so. Okay? This is good for data governance, which we'll talk about later on. Okay? If I'm a European citizen, my data needs to stay in the European Union. And so we can have a policy that says, if I'm needing provision something for this particular customer, it can only be provisioned into the European Union. And then lastly, cloud security deployment. So what you're going to do here is you're going to do cloud security using a product called Vault. Okay? It's an open source product. You're going to use that to do cloud security for your AWS and your GCP environments. Okay? And then all these assignments, you're going to do a paper documenting your work. All the software we use in this course is open source software. It's software that's being used in the marketplace, and employers are looking for these specific skills. So if you have these on your resume and you put your resume out there and you put your LinkedIn profile and you have these keywords in it, you will be found by recruiters who are looking for these specific skills. Okay? Now, those of you who have had me before, and there's a lot of familiar names I see, extra credit is a hallmark of my course. Okay? So there are lots of extra credit opportunities to help you out. So if you submit early, you will have extra credit opportunities. If you have exceptional project performance, and that's at my discretion, so it's highly subjective, then you could have extra credit for that. And then I'm also introducing extra credit for tutors. So if you volunteer to be a tutor, there's nothing formal, it's just an informal volunteer thing, then there's extra credit. Okay? Now, there's extra credit for both the tutor and for the person being tutored. Okay? Obviously, the tutor's putting in a lot of effort, so the extra credit value is much higher. Okay? So let me just run through this real quick. So if you are going to tutor someone or multiple people, okay, you need to let me know by the beginning of week 3 who you've paired up with or the number of which students you've decided to tutor. And then what you estimate you're going to offer for tutoring. And that's just so I kind of have an idea who's getting tutors, and if people need them, I know who to reach out to. Okay? Likewise, go into the tutoring room in Microsoft Teams. If you want to be tutored, you want to find a tutor, post that you're looking for someone to help you. Okay? It's up to you to pair yourselves up. Okay? So please, if you need help, ask for it. Okay? There are students, I would imagine, who want that experience because there's a number of reasons for being a tutor. Okay? Number one, the extra credit. There's a scale in the syllabus of extra credit. So if you tutor about 5 hours for the semester, then you can get a half percentage point extra credit. If you end up over the course of 15 weeks tutoring about 41 to 50 hours, that's a lot, but it's possible for some people, okay? You could increase your grade by 5%, which is significant. Then the other thing you have to do is, if you're the tutor, you need to submit your extra credit report by the deadline, okay? And it should break down who you tutored each week, the number of hours, and what you tutored them on, just general areas. And the reason I need that is because I'm trying to get a formal tutoring program, and I've worked with the MIS Society in the past to try to make that happen, and we weren't able to make it happen formally, but we were able to get some informal things through the MIS Society. Likewise, if you are in the MIS Society, and you have students who are interested in this sort of thing, I can't give them extra credit, but I will be willing to write MIS Society members who do tutoring and document it for me a recommendation letter for a specific employer. So I can't do generic ones. Those aren't helpful to you, by the way. But I can do a specific letter for a specific employer or graduate program. Okay? If you're in my class, though, and you're eligible for the extra credit for tutoring, if you go above the 3% level, or at that level, then I will write you a single letter of recommendation for a future employer or graduate program of your choice. Again, it needs to be specific. So find a company you're interested in. I'll write you a recommendation letter. If I know someone there, I might even be able to help you out. So I know people at several companies here in San Diego and elsewhere. So I might even be able to write something that's specific to someone I know. Okay? If you did request tutoring and you did match up, so you have to be matched up and you actually have to go to the sessions and attend them and get tutored, I will offer a 1/4 percentage point extra credit for those who leverage that group tutoring through your peers. Okay? But your tutor needs to make sure your name is on their report. Okay? I'm not going to police that, so make sure that you are on that report before your tutor turns in at the end of the semester. Okay? As far as grading goes, discussions, there are 15. Each is worth 2% of your grade for a total of 30 points. Okay? Homework, there are 7 assignments worth 35%. Each is worth 5 points. Okay? Total 35 points. And then your final project is worth 35 points. Okay? If you have a grading dispute, you need to let me know within 1 week of when the score is posted. After that, I'm not going to review scores. Okay? And then I review the whole thing, not just the questions and dispute. So it doesn't really apply because we don't have essay. But let's use an example. If you turn in the homework assignment and there's 5 parts to it and you only did 2 of the parts, then you're not going to get any credit for it. Okay? If you did all 5 of the parts and you didn't really put any effort into one of them and you want me to review it again, I'll review it with you again, but I'm going to review the whole thing, not just the area that you want me to look at. Okay? So your score could go up, down, or remain the same. And also important to note, after week 15, the start of it, I'm not going to review any scores. Okay? So your final project score is final because I submit grades as soon as I finish grading it. Okay? Standard letter grades, attendance, I don't monitor your attendance. Okay? So you don't need to tell me if you're sick. Just catch up. Okay? But you do have participation requirements. Okay? I've already covered that. I covered the collaboration policy, late and missed work. Okay? The discussions and the final project cannot be submitted late. If you are not going to finish the project, but you're otherwise passing the course, then you do have one option. Okay? You can ask me, and you have to do the asking. I can't ask you. Okay? You have to ask me for a temporary grade of an incomplete, and we have to complete an incomplete contract. If we've done that, then you have, I believe it's a semester to complete the work. Okay? So you have until the end of spring to complete it if you fit into that category. So if you have a medical emergency that comes up and you don't think you're going to be able to complete that project, then you should contact me to talk about incompletes. Okay? Homework can be submitted late. Up to 14 full days late, there's a grace period with no penalties. Okay? If it's 15 or more days late, it's 30% penalty. Okay? So whatever your score is, you're going to take 30% off that. Okay? And then I also have early submission extra credit for the homework and project only. So this doesn't apply to the discussions. Okay? If it's less than 2 full days early, there's no extra credit. Okay? That's cutting it pretty close. But if it's 2 to 7 days, you get a 5% bonus. Okay? And you can go above the original score. So, the high score is 5 and you get the extra credit, you could end up with a 5.25. Now, Cougar Courses has a limitation, I believe, still, where I cannot give you more than the points that are available on the assignment. So you'll see that added as an extra credit item. Okay? And at the end, that extra credit gets added to your score. You'll have to add it manually throughout the course. I don't believe that it gets added for me automatically. If it's more than 7 full days early, you're going to get an extra 10% bonus. Okay? So it really incentivizes you to turn things in early. Okay? It's a benefit for you as well because then you'll actually get feedback that's more timely that can allow you to improve for the project in the next homework assignment. Okay? And there are no makeup assignments or resubmissions. Obviously, the exception being if you have a medical emergency and you have documentation, then we can cross that bridge when we come to them. Okay? This is a 4-unit course. You should spend about 12 hours a week for this course on a class. It's going to fluctuate. Some weeks you're going to spend more, some weeks you're going to spend less. Okay? And then make sure you're fully aware of the academic honesty policy, ADA, the DSS stuff. If you have that, send that to me privately. And then the student help desk. Okay? And there's more information in Cougar Courses about the help desk. All right, that should do it. So I will go ahead and post this video for you, and then our next videos will be shorter for the specific content of the course.